Hello there and welcome to my guide for painting Nick Fury, Maria Hill and Dum Dum Dugan for Marvel Zombies. As you can see, the first thing I've done is sprayed them all with some matte black spray from Colourforge. Then I'm going to dry brush everyone with some Corvus Black. And this will be followed by a dry brush of Eshin Grey. Now for Maria Hill and Dum Dum Dugan, I want their uniform to look a little bit, sort of have a hint of blue. So I'm going to wash all those black areas with a little bit of thinned down Drakenhof Nightshade. Then for Nick Fury's shirt, I'm going to use Skavenblight Dinge. And for his trousers, I'm going to use some Dryad Bark. Then I'll wash both those areas with some Nuln Oil. Once the Drakenhof Nightshade wash has dried, I'm going to start on the white on Dum Dum Dugan and Maria Hill, also with the weapon that Nick Fury is holding. Nearly called him Nick Frost then. For that, I'm going to use some Grey Seer. This will be followed by a 50-50 mix of Grey Seer and matte white. And then finally, some matte white just by itself for the final highlight. After that, both Dum Dum Dugan and Maria Hill's skin will get painted with some Cadian flesh tone. And Nick Fury's will get painted with some Catachan flesh. Then all the skin will receive a wash with some Reichland flesh shade. While that wash dries, I'm going to highlight Nick Fury's trousers, and for that I'm going to use a 50-50 mix of Dryad Bark and Gothor Brown. And to highlight his shirt, I'm going to use some Storm Vermin Fur. Once the wash on the skin is dried, we're going to use some Abaddon Black to start painting in their eyes. This will be followed by matte white. And then lastly, Abaddon Black again for the pupils. To highlight the lighter skin, I'm going to use a 50-50 mix of Cadian Flesh Tone and Kislev Flesh. And this will be followed by Kislev Flesh just by itself. And to highlight Nick Fury's skin, I'm going to use some Bloodreaver Flesh. Next, I'm going to paint Dum Dum Dugan's mustache and his hair with some Mournfang Brown. And I'm going to paint his hat with some Rhinox Hide. I'll also use that to paint Nick Fury's belt. I'll then give the Rhinox Hide and the Mournfang Brown a wash with some Agrax Earthshade. I'm then going to use some Abaddon Black to paint Maria Hill's hair and the facial hair on Nick Fury, and that'll be given a wash with some Nuln Oil. I did have some footage of that, but for some reason it was like super blurry, even more blurry than what's in front of us. Next, I'm going to use Dryad Bark to paint any mud on the bases. I'll use Dawnstone to paint any concrete or any rocks. And to paint the traffic markings on Maria Hill's base, I'm going to use some Avalan Sunset. Then all the bases will receive a dry brush with some Carrick Stone. Then with the wash dried on Dum Dum Dugan's hat, I'm going to use some matte white to finish off the trim. All the bases will then be washed with some watered down Agrax Earthshade. And once that wash is dried, that's these guys finished. I've got to say, they're quite easy and quite quick to paint. They're not the most thrilling of models in the Marvel Zombies range, but then they are just simple bystanders. They're only just designed to get nommed on. They didn't take too long to paint either, only coming in around about 3 to 4 hours for all three. Again, very easy, very simple, and very quick to paint. If you use this guide, I really do hope it helped. And if you want to see more Marvel Zombies stuff, there's plenty more on the channel. Give the channel a subscribe and just have a search around, and they're all there. They are in a playlist somewhere. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.